we're a small business.
Yep.
We are a retail business, meaning we sell things. If we don't give people the opportunity to buy something, we lose the opportunity to make money. And ultimately, we need to make money to keep our business open. So what that means, simply put, if we're not open, we're not making money.
Come on and visit for any occasion. So keep patting down waiting, comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers. And now, here are Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
I guess the most important question I have for this podcast, will there be dinner afterwards?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
That's the reward for doing the podcast, is there's dinner afterwards.
Yay!
My whole, body chemistry is built on the idea that my metabolism depends on there being a meal at the end of this podcast.
Does it speed up right when I press record?
I get hungrier. It's like a Pavlovian thing now.
Yeah.
As soon as I hear that beep beep noise of the recording starting, that's my stomach going, hey, is it dinner time yet? And I go, in an hour.
Okay, so just an hour this time. Good.
Yeah, because
Good
I
to
want to get dinner after this. Podcasts are fun and everything, but I need food to live.
And also, it feels like we already did this week.
It really does. Because we did, technically.
Technically, yeah. And I think that the result of that will be out after this, actually.
Yeah. So, we're gonna talk about that for a minute?
Sure.
So, Patrick and I collaborated on a podcast with the folks at Graphic Novel TK, Gina and Allie, who were fantastic hosts. We were on their podcast to ostensibly talk about how artists and creators of graphic novels can work with stores to do signings, to do promotion, that kind of thing. In retrospect, and maybe I'm just remembering bits and pieces of it, and the edit will sound different, and it'll jog my memory in a different way, I don't know if we talked about that as much as we probably should have.
There was a post immediately after from Allison Wilgus, who will be doing all the editing, that said, I have to cut about 40 minutes of us just ripping on each other.
Well, they had said from the start that it was like an hour.
Yeah.
Is what they're aiming towards. And we recorded way more than that.
Right, but specifically, she's taking out
All the fun
everybody
stuff.
making fun of everybody else.
Oh.
Which there was a lot of.
What would this podcast be without that? 18 minutes long?
What is that podcast going to be without it?
But, and again, I'm sure you'll listen to it when it's posted as well to see how we did. But I remember in the aftermath, like the next day, thinking, gosh, I hope we gave them what they were looking for, because I feel like we went down a few tangents and stuff that, in retrospect, there was based on questions they asked, but I wish we had answered, or I had answered maybe, shorter.
Well, I had their questions up on the screen.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you recall, but at least 3 times I said, well, to get back to your original question.
Right.
And I tried to bring it back, because I do feel that we may not have given the information they were looking for. And it was a really fun conversation. But, I mean, it's Gina Gagliano, who we love, who I have publicly said to her that I want to be here when I grow up.
Store motto, anything for Gina.
Yeah?
Store motto.
That's true. And
Can't go against that.
While I don't think we've ever met Allison before, we're going to. She's going to be at C2E2.
Yeah, tabling at C2E2.
Yeah, she's going to be in Artist Alley, so that'll be fun. And yeah, she had I think this was her idea initially, the whole podcast in general. And previous episodes of theirs, like the very first one was with Ryan North.
Yeah, I think they've done over, a dozen at this point.
Yeah, I think we're 26 or 27.
Wow, okay, yeah.
Yeah. But the neat thing about, and this is just a total small fanboy gushing moment, when Allison had posted that about, oh, hey, we recorded with Challengers, and I've got to cut all this fun stuff out, the one person that commented who said, neat, was Raina.
Oh, neat. I was afraid you're going to say, my mom. Is my mom even on Twitter?
Probably to stalk.
Maybe.
Speaking of Twitter, it is a thing I was not on at all today.
Okay.
Until I got home and I noticed there was, if there's a lot of activities in the notation bar, in the notification bar, there's parentheses with a number. There was a high number. And I thought, oh, did something happen today?
On the Twitters?
Yeah, specifically related to us.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I was doing right before this. we got tagged in a post, and I don't understand it, and it's definitely the core aspect of the internet. It's people arguing about something, and it's turning into somebody versus somebody else.
Cool.
And I guess there's a series of accounts called Let's Talk, and then with a subject after it.
Okay.
Like, let's talk comics, let's talk gaming, or whatever.
These are Twitter accounts?
I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just completely telling you everything I just learned in the last 30 seconds.
Okay.
And I guess it gets even deeper, like let's talk She-Ra or something. So it was somebody saying, hey, you should support your local comic store.
Uh-huh.
And then somebody else saying you shouldn't, and somebody else saying that's a dick move, and then it became all this arguing. And I don't understand any of it.
Uh-huh.
And it was one of the Masters of the Universe support groups or fan groups
Okay.
that was involved in this,
All right.
and I don't understand.
Yeah,
There was no one person had mentioned us in one post, and they also mentioned Toy du Jour and Gmart, and I think that just became reply to all, reply to all,
sure.
reply to all.
Like, don't you want to get involved in this? And the answer is, I absolutely do not.
I think that was more of a, hey, like if you're in Chicago, these are the people I support.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
that's good.
not somebody calling us out or trying to get us involved. It was
Okay.
somebody
'Cause I know
actively saying, hey, these are the places I go.
what little I know of how the Twitters work is that occasionally, when a conversation is kind of blowing up, people will start naming and tagging people specifically to get them aware of the conversation and to chime in and support their side or attack the other side or whatever.
Well, as Marty and Sarah always say, don't at the wrestlers.
Okay.
Don't at the wrestlers.
Sure.
And it's a lesson we can all use in non-wrestling capacities.
I will try and understand that and live by it.
I mean, you already live by it.
I do. I don't add anybody.
You 100% live by that.
I don't add anybody.
Entirely.
Yeah.
Going back to graphic novel TK for a second, because we digressed, which is what we did all throughout their podcast.
We did. It was a real quick sidebar. There was a part in the beginning where Gina was giving a few little tips on how they run their podcast and what they wanted us to know about ahead of time, which I really appreciated. But there was a point where she'd mentioned that, they want elaborate answers. They want people to, when asked a question, go into some detail on it and don't just give like oh yeah, I do this, the end. Like, they don't want 10-word answers. They want, longer answers.
Yes, in one of my hilarious bits, I then said I was going to only nod my answers.
Right. But you and I together, when we're on anything together, we tend to kind of multiply how long we can talk by adding to or backing up or little bits, that kind of thing. And so all of a sudden, what should have been a 1-minute answer becomes a 6-minute answer. And I don't know if they knew that's what they were going to get ahead of time.
1 minute worth of content.
Yeah, 1 minute worth of real, like, nougaty center, and then 5 minutes of tangents and, like, busting on each other and just being dumb. And then maybe they can kind of shave that all off and just get down to the 1 minute where it's like, oh, that's a helpful piece of information that someone can enjoy.
I'm telling you, that 2-hour recording is going to make a tight 20-minute podcast.
It will. I hope
there was a point where she asked us to go into more detail. I'm like, oh, I thought we were good on this.
Well, like, and it was sort of interesting because it's my understanding from seeing the posts on the beat were that it's largely about the book trade and largely about how graphic novels go through that system and how that system creates and promotes and sells graphic novels using Gina and Allison's experience in that industry. So there were things that we would say, like direct market and Diamond Comics distributors, and Gina smartly at a certain point said, can you kind of define some of that terminology, because that's not necessarily something that would come up in previous episodes because it's not relevant to a lot of their previous stuff.
And that's the terminology their audience may not use.
Yeah.
I mean, we throw it around all the time here because it's our day-to-day jargon.
Yeah, and
I almost said jargon.
Past
like
a certain point, I think the assumption
jargon
of what we do on Contest of Challengers is with...
What is Contest of Challenger, by the way?
It's a comics industry business podcast on the Yak Channel Podcast Network.
Where is it?
We record it in Chicago, Illinois. It's from Challengers Comics Conversation. I'm one of the owners of Challengers, W. Dalbush.
Oh, that sounds interesting. I, Patrick Brower, another owner of Challengers, would like to listen to that.
Well, you can find it on iTunes. Rate, review, subscribe.
Tell me about Patreon.
What is this iTunes? No, but I at least come into this podcast with an assumption that the people listening to it have a...
Oh, I thought you were going to say animosity. Sorry.
That goes without saying. Has a basic understanding of what a comic shop is, how a comic shop might work, and we go into detail frequently on specifically how things like final order cutoff and receiving work. But in general, there's the assumption that you go to a comic shop and you've experienced a comic shop if you're listening to this podcast. So that we don't necessarily define every piece of terminology or jargon because it would just slow everything down.
But if we say something people don't understand, feel free to ask.
Yeah, for sure. That's what we've got, Patreon and Twitter and Facebook, and I'll put Patrick's phone number on at the end of this episode, and then people can just text you.
What?
Yep. Easy peasy.
You know, two can play that game, and I have way more social media access than you do. Let's not start a war.
I mean, you can put it wherever you want. I'm okay not answering my phone. I'm totally fine with that.
I did not answer the phone again today when Yelp called.
Oh, yeah.
That is my strategy now. When Yelp calls, I just don't answer, let the machine get it.
Sure. Well, they don't listen to us.
And they left a message. They left a message about wanting to talk to us and can we call them back? Never saying the word Yelp.
Because they know that we don't want to talk to them.
The woman said her name and her phone number, asked for you, asked for me, never mentioned Yelp.
We have spent so many years telling Yelp that we will let them know when we're interested in their services. And they resolutely ignore us and just call whenever they feel like it.
What did you say your strategy was now? That even at the point you decide you want to work with Yelp, you're going to add a month to the waiting period for every phone call?
It's a month penalty for every time they've called us after us telling them we don't want them calling us.
Well, it turns out, Al, it's not just us.
No.
And I don't know about other industries, but I do know that this is happening to a lot of different comic stores where they're getting badgered by people from Yelp. All different, regional salespeople.
Yeah.
And Yelp is not taking no for an answer.
I'll have to check the Google later to find out if it's more prevalent than just our little corner of retail. But yeah, it definitely seems like someone higher up in Yelp is kind of tightening the screws in monetizing Yelp. So no one's getting their free listing right anymore. The expectation is you need to be paying us to get boosted listings and more access to customers and all these things that we've just said, not right now.
Do we still get, and I ask this because I don't recall seeing one for a while, the monthly Yelp update that said, hey, here's how many people viewed your page, called your business, went to your website?
I haven't seen one in forever.
Yeah. I used to look at those and say, there's no way. There's no way that many people visited our Yelp page, that many people went to our website or called the store directly from Yelp.
Sure.
Maybe they don't do it anymore because they get tired of lying.
I don't know if it's true or not true, but I never took those numbers as something that we should, strategize about or build our business around. They were interesting factoids, but I didn't really care about what they were saying.
One of my favorite things that Yelp offers is prioritize listing. If somebody in Chicago is looking for a comic book store and they go, they type in comic store Chicago, if you pay Yelp, you'll be at the top of the page.
Yep.
Okay, great. You may not be close to them geographically.
Sure.
But you're the first listing. But what if, hear me out, what if another comic store also pays to be the top of the page?
Yeah. And God knows they're hitting a lot of comic shops because we've been told, oh, look at this page. Oh, one of your competitors pays us to get a listing. Wouldn't you rather your listing be higher up? Not really.
And how does it get higher up? You have to pay more?
Yeah, who knows?
So apparently if two people pay for the same service, it flip-flops.
Yeah, 50-50.
So you're getting half the service you asked for.
Great. But they're getting twice the money because they're getting two different comic shops paying for that quote-unquote bonus. Yeah, I don't really appreciate how Yelp badgers us. There have been a number of uncomfortable conversations with Yelp salespeople, and it's constantly shifting, who we try and tell them we are not interested right now, and it's a lot of, but how can we make you interested? What's going to make you interested? Who do we need to talk to? How do we get you to yes? And it's just like, just leave me alone. I don't want to have this argumentative phone conversation.
That said, I value Yelp as a service for myself as a civilian, and I believe our current security company you found on Yelp.
Sure. And I've used Yelp for other stuff. I'm not morally opposed to Yelp as a company. And
Right.
I'm on it. And the joke of it is that I'm not even opposed to putting money into Yelp to promote our business. But the aggressive sales tactics make me really uncomfortable doing that.
It's as if somebody were in the store and were like, hey, you really should try Peter Cannon Thunderbolt #1 from this week because it's really good. Which, sidebar, really good.
I enjoyed it.
We'll get back to it. And they're like, no, we don't. No, you don't understand. This book is great. Like, you have to get it. And we don't let them out of the store until they buy it. Who's going to want to come back for that?
Yeah, more than anything, like I view it like going up to someone and saying, hey, you should check out Peter Cannon Thunderbolt. Not right now. I don't really have the money for it right now. I can get a couple books, and that's not really going to be one of them. But maybe next week when I've got... No, you have to get it right now. You've got to get it. I only have enough for these other 2 books. No, but this is so good. You need to get it. You need to get it on top of the other 2 books.
Yeah, not in place of.
Yeah, now I'm buying 0 books and I'm walking out the door. Because this has become uncomfortable and I don't like having this conversation.
And even if you actually were forced into buying Peter Cannon Thunderbolt #1 and you liked it so much you wanted the next issue, you wouldn't get it from those people.
Yeah.
You'd find somewhere else.
If anything, if I felt that forced to buy it, I'd probably just throw it away. Because it's like, this is all really gross and uncomfortable and I do not appreciate this pressure.
Would you hold it against the comic?
Yeah, probably. Because just the whole thing feels weird. I don't want to be reminded of that incident.
Well, now I feel bad choosing that book as the example.
Right. Luckily, this is all hypothetical because we didn't do that to anyone, so everyone can enjoy Peter Cannon Thunderbolt #1.
And it's well done.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. I never thought I'd be this excited for a Dynamite comic. Hey, that's mean.
Oh, golly. You like Nancy Drew.
I do. That book is awesome.
Yeah.
I guess I meant Peter Cannon Thunderbolt, who I've read different iterations over the years.
Yeah. This is very much a kind of creator response to Watchmen, if not a direct, confrontation on Watchmen. It's kind of delving into some of the ideas and concepts of Watchmen vis-a-vis like character design and the not the structure of the book necessarily or the themes of Watchmen, at least so far.
Or the layout.
But kind of what the conception of some of the characters were. So it's a more character-based response to something like Watchmen.
But still eminently accessible.
Yeah, for sure.
I enjoyed it. And it's the pick of the week.
Yeah,
And I sold a copy to someone today.
I think it's really hard for creators who are dealing with the old Charlton characters to not find a way to reference Watchmen because that's the more famous version of all of those characters.
Yeah.
Peter Cannon Thunderbolt is way less famous than Ozymandias. Peacemaker is way less famous than the Comedian. Captain Atom is way less famous than Dr. Manhattan, and so on. You don't see it as much with Blue Beetle necessarily because he had, I think, a longer run as a solo character and has done more team stuff than some of the other characters, but it's really, really difficult to do, stuff like Nightshade and whatever without addressing the Watchmen elephant in the room.
Which Watchman was Dollman? That wasn't a real question.
No, it wasn't there like a little guy? I don't remember for sure if there was... Maybe I'm just thinking of the Atom from Justice Society of America.
Maybe. I will say this, which may shock people, so be ready.
Uh-oh.
I read Watchmen periodically. By that I mean in periodicals when it came out in '86.
Okay.
I haven't read it since.
Might be worth revisiting at some point.
Sure. Once I get through this giant spinner rack full of comics.
Put it on the list. Maybe put the Watchmen graphic novel on the spinner rack.
Sure. It's right over there. It's right over there.
Buried behind something.
And there's a fun misprinted copy we have at the store that I haven't gotten rid of yet.
Sure.
Even though it's a weird, like the cover's printed wrong, so the logo is half on the spine, half on the cover. Thought it was a neat design.
Yeah.
It's an accident. And I'm like, do I want this one? I'm like, no, I have a copy of Watchmen from a very long time ago, as well as the singles.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, it sits there, and I see it every day and think, I should do something with that. I think that about a lot of things. Which is why I have a giant box full of things in the back hallway of the store that I'm just going to throw away, so long as you're okay with it.
Okay.
80% old computer cables, keyboards.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you wouldn't
absolutely.
even look into it. It's like 4 keyboards.
Yeah.
Um,
Because every time we get a computer, it'd come with a wired keyboard, and we'd be like, we have a wireless keyboard, we're not using this.
but it's also all the old wireless keyboards that we've replaced.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's
I
totally
kept
fine.
I kept a wired keyboard just in case there's an emergency where we need to plug one in.
I believe strongly that we've probably bought something that we had an extra of in the back that we completely forgot was in the back.
Oh, absolutely.
That was buried
Yeah.
in a box,
Yeah.
and we didn't need to buy another one, but it was just easier to buy a new one than dig through those boxes to see if we had a replacement.
It is a large box.
Do we have
full of
speakers
things.
in there? I think we need to replace the computer speakers on the left computer.
Oh, ironically,
Because I think only one of them works.
We do not have speakers.
That's weird.
Yeah, we have a stereo speaker. That's not what you meant, though.
No, I meant
I know what you mean.
left-right speaker
Yeah,
system.
yeah.
Because I think only the left speaker works on the left computer.
Well, let's be honest. These speakers are 11 years old now.
they are. I'm not blaming them for not working anymore, but I am suggesting that maybe we should replace them at some point.
With new Hello Kitty speakers.
Whatever. I like those Hello Kitty speakers because they're flat.
Yeah.
They don't take up a lot of space.
They don't.
It's great.
I'll dig around to see if I have any extra. I don't think so, but I definitely did not come across any in the back.
We'll be out in the burbs at some point soon, and we can probably any giant grocery
Tuesday-
store, whatever,
Yeah.
probably has
Yeah.
a small computer section where we can get
Okay.
a cheap $10 set of speakers.
Or I'll be Sunday. I will definitely be at a place I can stop.
Later this month, I know that I'll be stopping at a Best Buy so I can get something then. There's a lot of options, is what I'm saying. We just need to remember to do it.
Sure. Well, we talked a little bit last week about people not coming in because of the cold, but that was long before this week happened. And this week was a very cold week in the city of Chicago. Not a record cold week, but, one of the coldest weeks people have seen in a very long time.
It was
And by week, we mean
nearly
couple days.
record-setting.
Nearly, but not quite.
Yeah, but still, I mean, pretty goddamn cold.
Sure, but 85 or 86 still beat it.
Sure.
Or whatever it was. I don't recall. Although, to be fair, it wasn't. It wasn't that. It was like when they first started recording temperatures,
Uh-huh.
the first January that they did it had a record that has never been broken.
Wow.
But not. I guess what I mean is for that late in the month,
Okay.
like January, whatever those were, 30th, 29, 30,
Okay.
30, 31, whatever.
January 29th through the 31st was what it was this time.
Those, like they were ones that were colder earlier in the month. And I have been prone to reminding people that traditionally we get dumped on with snow this weekend because we usually get a lot of snow on the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen this week because it already happened.
Cool.
I do not like walking to the store in the snow
Okay.
because it takes so much longer
Yeah.
when people haven't shoveled or plowed or whatever.
Sure.
And just the snowfall from last night to this morning, it slowed me down tremendously. And also, I'm wearing snow boots.
Mm-hmm.
So for whatever reason, I don't know why, but snow boots, while well insulated and warm, have so much less traction
Weird.
and are so much slipperier than normal shoes.
Weird. I have not noticed that.
So I was slipping and sliding all over the place today, and I gave myself extra time to get to the store, and I needed all of it. It was a slippery walk in because nothing is plowed or shoveled. I mean, the front of Challengers is very nicely
Yeah.
taken care of and easy to get in and all that kind of good stuff. But it doesn't matter because no one came in. And I don't mean no one, but I mean like half the people.
Very few people.
Today, Friday, was the highest customer day of the week so far.
Yeah, our statistic for Wednesday was that we had about a third the people we normally have in on a Wednesday,
Yeah.
but we did about half the business.
Yep.
So the people who came out were motivated. Like, they had a bunch of stuff waiting for them in their subscriptions, or they bought a bunch of books. But it was not a high number of people. Like, we had talked at 11 when we opened about how late we'd be open, because I think we both assumed it was 7, but then when I got there, I was thinking, like, are we even going to be having people coming in late in the night? Because usually 5 to 7 is, people getting off of work. Well, almost no one was working on that Wednesday because it was too cold to go in. Most businesses either didn't open or sent people home. So, but we thought, no, we'll stick it out. We're already here. Why not? And it was getting warmer through the day, so it was smarter to stay until 7 than it was to leave at 5. But yeah, from 5:30 to 7, like, nobody came in. We were just ticking down the minutes.
You know, I meant to start my car tonight because I didn't use it the last couple days.
Yeah.
But I forgot.
Uh-oh.
I'm sure it's okay.
Probably fine.
Probably fine.
Because you need it tomorrow, right?
No.
No? Okay.
Sunday.
Okay.
I need it tomorrow.
All right.
Is there something I don't know about? What's happening tomorrow?
I thought you were doing something after work that you needed.
Am I? No, I don't think
Okay.
so. Now I wonder.
All right.
I don't. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway.
None of my business.
Getting back to the cold. One of the things we had done, and look, we're a small business.
Yep.
We are a retail business, meaning we sell things. If we don't give people the opportunity to buy something, we lose the opportunity to make money. And ultimately, we need to make money to keep our business open. So what that means, simply put, if we're not open, we're not making money. On a day like Wednesday, which is New Comic Book Day and the busiest day of every week for us, we need to be open. We need to be making money. So it wasn't even a conversation. Are we going to be open?
Yeah, the only reason we would not have been open is if there were not new books. If something had happened with the weather that had kept Diamond from being able to deliver comics, then maybe there would have been a conversation about, maybe we don't open, or maybe it's not worth the hassle of trying to get to the store if no one's going to be coming in. But even then, one of us probably would have gone in.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that would be the only time where there was a discussion if nothing came in.
And we are a locally owned business, meaning we live in the neighborhood. We live less than a mile from the store. So it's not that difficult to get to the store.
Yeah, for us, I think we got in. We left early and got in early.
Yeah.
And the only slight hiccup was at one point we were in Patrick's car and we were going to be leaving, and we were thinking about, we'll stop at Dunkin' Donuts and maybe we'll go through the drive-thru. Well, will the window roll down to go to the drive-thru? Window rolls down. Oh, this is great. Perfect. Let me roll back up. And it goes up like an eighth of an inch and just sort of slows. And then it's just holding the button down, goes up a fraction of an inch. It's like, oh my God, what is going to happen if we can't get this driver's side window to go all the way up? Like, we could probably drive to the store, but holy God, like, it's already just standing still minus 56 degrees with the wind chill. What would happen if you were also going 20 miles an hour? How impossible would that be to even breathe?
So it was push the button, let it stop. Push the button, let it stop. Push the button, and it made it back up.
Yeah, so, but that was almost oh God, we totally screwed ourselves. Like, now we can't drive this car. Now we have to walk, and we can't walk because it's minus 56 degrees with the wind chill. But everything worked out. We got to the store fine. There was food. There was heat in the store. It was actually kind of nice inside the store.
Yeah. I have to say, I've heard some horror stories from people whose furnace went out, or whose thermostat broke, or other things, or like needed extra blankets or space heaters or what have you.
I was reading that news story about Centrum Bucktown, the
by giant, the Aldi.
Yeah, where it's, $3,000 apartments and they have no heat. And they have one space heater for an entire apartment. It's like, God, that's a nightmare.
Isn't that owned by a New York company? That's what you get.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's terrible. But there are you wouldn't expect that with a $3,000 a month apartment, but...
You think the very least you would have is the up to code, it has to be at least 68 degrees inside a residence?
Something like that.
You'd think.
Oh, well. Knock on wood, that's this side of me in knocking. The cold didn't affect anything else. Like, my car didn't break down. Mm-hmm. We had... Like, there's heat right now in the recording studio.
Yeah.
The store was, for the most part, warm. I wore a hoodie. Dal had long johns.
I did. I had long johns on.
Yeah, I wore 2 pairs of socks and a hoodie. But it was just unzipped. Mm. And the day was fine. Comfortably fine.
Yeah.
But one of the things we did to let people know we were going to be open was we filmed a little video, a very short 17, 18-second video, outside of the store.
Yeah, in front of the store. After
Because
we opened.
we were going to... Well, we wanted people to know we were open.
Right.
But we wanted to reward people who were coming out. And Dal had the idea of... We have a Keurig at the store. And we had done a hot chocolate event before Christmas. And we had a bunch of Keurig hot chocolate left over.
Yeah.
And Dal said, why don't we give out hot chocolate on Wednesday?
Yeah, there's people walking in who've been outside and, again, minus 40, 50-something degree temperatures.
So let's warm them up, right?
Yeah.
So we filmed a small, very short video of us outside, not bundled up, not in hats and coats and scarves and gloves and things, just in our everyday clothes.
Yeah,
You were holding a copy of the aforementioned Peter Cannon Thunderbolt #1.
indeed.
I had a cup of hot chocolate, which, by the way, was from Dunkin' Donuts and not we were giving away.
No, it was very large.
Which is why I made a point of saying on the video, Swiss Miss hot cocoa.
Yep.
And just say, hey, you come if you're going to brave the weather, we're going to reward you with the hot cocoa.
Sure.
First of all, that video is the most widespread thing we've ever done. It has well over 1,000 views on Facebook.
Crazy.
The last time I checked, it was nearing 1,000 views on Instagram.
Yikes.
More likes than anything we've ever done on Instagram before. And, it just took off.
Okay.
The second of all thing was that half of the comments were, I can't believe it, that's amazing, you guys are doing the Lord's work, you guys are heroes, things like that. Half of the comments were people legitimately angry at us for being open.
Oh, okay.
Negative things, saying bad things about us for being open, but not for being open so much as for being outside while filming.
Oh, okay. I thought they were mad that we'd not closed our business, and it's like
there
that's my
was
livelihood?
talking to Gina Challenger today. She'd heard people that said, "I'm never supporting a business that forces its employees to come in on a day like this, and I will never support them again."
We didn't force our employees.
Right, we went ourselves.
Yeah.
It was nobody but us.
Yeah, I would not have felt comfortable asking somebody
No, definitely
else.
not. But you can't fault a business for being open
Yeah,
for that.
if a business owner wants to be open,
But the people were just angry, and I thought, first of all,
internet.
I understand, ultimately, I believe that this is coming from a place of caring. Mm-hmm. It was a 17-second video.
Yeah.
We didn't stand out there take after take. All right, there were 2 takes.
Yeah, you were outside for 2 of them.
Yeah.
I was outside for 1.
We need a second one because after I did it and Dow was involved, but on the inside, and you had said something like, "I'm never in those things," and I said, "Yeah, by your choice." And I go, "Do you want to be in this one?" He's like, "Okay," and then he came out and did it.
Sure, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, and you were great. But half of the other comments were all people, "Look at Dal's face," or "Dal is so uncomfortable,"
I wasn't.
or Dal wants to punch you so bad.
I didn't. It was fine.
Yeah. But just a number of people that were angry at us for doing it.
All right.
And, what do you want? It got the point across. People knew we were open. They didn't come in.
None of my fingers fell off.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Yeah, exactly. There was no frostbite.
No.
None of our fingers are black right now. My
No.
nails are. Actually, that's purple.
Oh, okay. No, mine are just my regular
But,
color.
I mean, on the one hand, it's great that it was passed around so much. But even today, people are commenting on it. I'm like, all right, that was 2 days ago. the time is up.
Live in the now.
And we didn't give away nearly as much hot cocoa as I thought we would.
Yeah, I mean, some people had stuff waiting for them, and some people just weren't interested. I think we gave away 3 or 4 cups, maybe, not counting what I drank.
But it wasn't just us giving back. We had a few customers also bring things in for us. Lovingly bring things in for us.
Yeah, very generous.
Drew and Ashley with red velvet cupcakes with cream cheese frosting.
Which were delicious.
Which were also the Challenger C in the icing.
But they put some work in.
They really did. And I think we might be giving credit in the wrong direction. I think it was mainly Drew who did those.
I give both of them the credit because they both brought it in.
That's true.
So
That's fair.
I don't want to decide who did what part. Let's just say you're both very appreciated.
The weird thing about it now is the cupcakes that remain. Mm-hmm. Have you seen them?
Mm-hmm. I have.
Something happened.
I don't know when.
All of the by the time we got them home, they
Yeah.
were like that.
Yeah.
all of the icing has melted off.
Yeah,
and then recongealed in the bottom of the Tupperware.
I'll be honest, I thought you did that. When I saw them, I'm like, did he just not want that much frosting, so he was just scraping it off? That's kind of rude.
It just broke down into its chemical components and oozed off the sides.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the cupcakes are still fine. They're just not frosted.
Yeah.
You could probably try to mix it up, but it's...
Yeah, you just kind of dip it.
Yeah.
Just dip it in what's left.
So weird.
Yeah.
So weird. But still wonderful, and thank you.
Yeah, very appreciated.
And then Shake a Lug to baked us cookies and brought them over still warm on the pan they were in the oven in.
Yeah, very good.
And I figured out what the secret is. I'm like, is that cinnamon? It's ginger.
Oh,
These are
okay.
ginger chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, they're like ginger snaps, but with chocolate chips.
Interesting.
But not hard like ginger snaps.
Very good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely ate way too much on Wednesday. I'll be honest with that.
Well, we overbought because we didn't know if we were going to have the chance to get lunch, if anything else is going to be open. I subscribe to The Eater, which is a newsletter about restaurants in the city. And they sent out a list of over 200 restaurants that were closed.
Sure.
And, I mean, obviously Dunkin' was open. So
Dunkin' was open. By Us McDonald's was open. Starbucks was open.
Some Starbucks were closed, though.
Yeah, somebody had mentioned when they'd come in that they'd said Starbucks was closed, and I assume they meant the one up the street from us. But they just meant the Starbucks by where they had come from. Because when I walked to McDonald's, there were like 8 people inside
That's
Starbucks.
right. Dal Hero walked to McDonald's.
I did. I was going to do Uber Eats because they're just down the street, and I'll pay the $3 to not have to go out into the cold. But we had Scott Gerber, who is a frequent customer,
and club member, subscriber,
had stopped in to get
all around good guy.
Had stopped in to get his stuff, and he said he was going to McDonald's, and so we said, okay, we don't know if McDonald's is open. If it's open, can you just let us know? Can you just call the store and let us know if it's open, so we know if we have to make other plans? So not only did he call to say that McDonald's was open, he also gave Patrick the best news of the day.
Well, I'd asked him what he got, and he said he got the bacon Swiss melt. And I'm like, that's the thing that I was probably going to get that day. And he goes, but they do have signs advertising the Bacon Big Mac. And I said, what now? It's a Big Mac, but with bacon and bacon cheddar fries.
Mm-hmm. Patrick makes it sound like he was very calm about this, but the actual response was, what?
I said that. I literally said that.
But you didn't say what? You said, what? Like, it was insistent and loud and, like, go back because you're a liar.
I like using what as a statement, not a question. Which, I think, is more impactful.
Sure. It
I
certainly
think
was in this case.
It also implies more doubt. Like, I don't believe you. But I did believe him.
You did. And as it turned out, McDonald's had instituted some special bacon items on their menu, specifically the Bacon Big Mac and the bacon cheddar fries. So the idea was, we'll get those, but they weren't on the Uber Eats app. They were only currently at McDonald's. So we weren't not going to get those.
So we made a deal. I would go get them if Dow would take the sales call we had coming up. To which Dow said,
I'll walk.
Yeah, no deal.
Yeah. You are taking the sales call. I will go to McDonald's.
And then, through just the luck of the draw,
twist,
Dow got the sales call.
I did. Patrick was dealing with customers, so I answered the phone, and it was the sales call. So I'm like, I'll just do this now.
But it was not me avoiding it.
No.
Which I'm not above.
No.
We all know that.
They say hi, by the way.
Also, you told me.
Okay.
Also, the Bacon Big Mac, not that great. Like, it seems weird. I think it's the special sauce doesn't go with bacon. But the bacon cheese fries, fine.
Okay.
Not that different than Wendy's, to be fair.
Okay, yeah, the Wendy's ones, they're all right. I like them okay, but it's obviously the lowered expectations of a fast food restaurant rather than like an actual restaurant putting them together, or a place that has maybe higher end ingredients. Both, I think, McDonald's and Wendy's use the we squirt cheese out of a canister sort of thing, rather than any sort of melted cheese product. It's very just like squirt, here's some bacon bits, done.
Yeah. Well, it's the start of a new month.
Okay.
And that means monthly paperwork. And that means totals.
Uh-huh.
And that means comparing this January 2019 to January 2018.
Yes.
How do you think we fared, Dal?
Slightly down.
Slightly down is exactly right.
Yep.
We were down by $1,209. 100% equatable to this week and last weekend.
Yeah, I did the numbers up through this past Sunday, which was the 27th.
Yeah.
So I had a pretty good idea of what we needed to do in the last 4 days of the month to exceed January 2018, and by Wednesday I'm like, this is not happening.
Nope.
The weather caused, such a gap that there was no way that the 31st was going to fill it all.
Yeah, it's not a thing like, oh man, we're starting down. It's extenuating circumstances.
It's a fluke. And again,
we were well on our way to be doing better.
Yeah, and slightly down, it's fine. The amount we're down by is not some, huge, well, I guess, no one's eating this month. It's just, all right, hopefully we'll do better in February.
Yeah.
See what happens.
I mean, I hope to God we do better in February. It's our sale month.
Yeah, for sure.
Sale is coming up. This
is
the
podcast before the sale.
That's right. That's the one. What is the sale, Dal?
Patrick, once a year we do a store-wide 25% off sale called I Love You, But I've Chosen Comics. For the duration of that sale, which runs a week, February 7th to February 13th, everything in the store is 25% off, excluding items marked new this week, held items, and any previously marked down merchandise.
So, what about our back issues?
So, that's a good question. What would your answer be?
My answer would be no, because they're previously marked down.
I think I accidentally told somebody that they were on sale, and then I realized they would not be on sale because they're previously marked down, but they had already hung up by that point.
I see.
So one person might come in with his kid expecting to be 25% off.
Well, because they're already like 75% off.
They are. I guess I usually don't care enough because the difference is a quarter. It doesn't really bother me, but I always think of the previously marked down merchandise to be specifically the 50% off graphic novels.
Okay.
Because it's not an additional discount to something that has a discount applied. But a $5 graphic novel or a 99-cent back issue, I probably wouldn't care, but I'm fine saying no to people.
What about action figures that clearly have like $22.99 line through it, $16.99? That is previously marked down.
It is. We don't have a lot of those, but
just to get rid of them, I would say.
Yeah,
yes.
I would say again for that very reason. If I'm sick of looking at them and we can't sell them at that price for the last year or whatever, then fine. If someone just wants to get rid of them.
One of the things we never fully, like, we don't have on the window, but it's on the flyer.
Yeah.
Consignment books.
Consignment books I usually don't care that much about because we don't have any money in them.
Okay.
So if we only make 25% of the cover price instead of 50%, it's fine.
Okay.
Not worried about it.
And how long does this sale run again?
It's 7 days every year. It's February 7th to the 13th. One additional thing about the sale is that each year for the sale, we put together a new T-shirt design that is available exclusively at the I Love You But I've Chosen Comics sale. If you spend more than $100 pre-tax during the 7 days of the sale, you can put yourself down for one of the I Love You But I've Chosen Comics T-shirts. This year's design is by Melissa Sue Stanley. The shirts are delivered usually early March.
Yep.
But we contact you when they're in to come pick them up.
Normally the shirts are just available at the store, at the sale.
Mm-hmm.
In years past, we have kickstarted like a black shirt version.
The unlimited edition.
Yeah.
But the limited edition, the red T-shirt, is traditionally only available at the sale.
Although, to be fair, the unlimited edition had a much lower print run.
Probably, yeah.
And last year, we were using a new T-shirt company, and they had a crazy deal. So we ordered 100 shirts total when we didn't need 100 shirts.
No.
This year, we will not be doing that.
Yeah, that was a one-time trial thing of like, is there interest beyond this? But as with all of our T-shirt fiascos, we'll pick sizes and then we'll run out of smalls and mediums and whatever. And then suddenly it's like, hey, we've got a bunch of 3Xs and larges and no one cares.
Yeah.
Great.
That being said, we still have plenty of all sizes of the last year's comics T-shirt.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So yes, T-shirts will be available. That will be lovely. Dal, have you ever wanted to win a comic book store?
No.
All right, I'll move on then.
So it's like winning a whole bunch of extra work.
So Chimera Comics, which is a chain in the suburbs.
Yeah. I've been to at least one of their stores. LaGrange, maybe?
You were in LaGrange.
Yeah.
They're giving away their Oak Lawn store.
Okay.
They're giving it away. It's an essay contest.
Okay.
You have to, in 500 words or less, say what is the best thing about a comic shop, and they'll pick the winner.
Being in a comic shop.
And, I know that.
You can't use that one. We already used that.
They will give that person the store.
Okay.
Now, there are a few rules.
Mm-hmm.
There's a $25 entrance fee.
Huh.
And there is a minimum required number of entrants of 500.
Okay.
So if 500 people don't enter...
For $25 each.
Yes, that's $12,500.
Okay.
I believe that is basically so you're not inheriting that much debt with the store. Like, they're trying to give you a clean slate when you get it.
Okay.
But one of the reasons is they want people to share this and to promote it and to tell other people.
Sure they do.
And if it was...
500 minimum entrants.
Right, but if there weren't a number of entrants, people would have no reason to share it because they wouldn't... If they've entered themselves, they don't want more people entering.
I suppose.
That's one of the reasons.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's a very interesting thing.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how it all wraps up.
Have you started your essay?
No, I don't want to. I don't want another comic shop. Did they have a timeline to when this contest runs through? In
February.
When they're going to announce... so March is when they announce a winner?
I mean, hypothetically, they need to get 500 entrants first.
I guess.
That was a thing that I actually found out about from another retailer.
Okay.
Not anybody locally.
Well, it's unique. I hope it works out for everyone involved.
And if you happen to do it, you'll only be 20 miles away from us.
It's true.
No, I meant you.
Oh, I don't want it.
Why do you say you've never been there? It may be great.
I have a comic shop. I spend a lot of time at it. I don't want to... I mean, I guess I do technically want a second store, but I don't know that I want it in Oak Lawn.
Gotcha. So, I have a few questions here.
Okay.
From patrons. And, it is a new month, and Patreon is a thing that we have an account with, and people who find value in this podcast have the choice of, pledging money on a recurring monthly basis.
Supporting it financially?
Yeah, that's the thing. And we have a group of people that do that, including this list of people. Ryan Alcock, Michael Lee, Mitchell Davies, Thomas Nagovin, Jose Villagomez, the entire Springham family, Michael Romanenko, Arthur White, George Brower, Morgan Perry, Robert Lane, Jacob Sorelli, Christina McChrystal, and Tom Shapira.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. And if you're a patron, you get to ask us questions or suggest topics. So here we go. The aforementioned Ryan Alcock. Mm-hmm. I was wondering, how effective do you think $9.99 first volume trades are? You had a lot in your top 100 and top 10. Is the cheaper price an effective way to improve sales for a series as a whole?
Yes, it's effective for stores. No, it's maybe not effective for publishers, which is why Image is more or less doing away with that as their introductory price point.
And as a general rule for Image doing it, it still had to be the creator's choice. Like, Image would say, do you want to do it? And the creators had to decide if they want to basically lose money on the first trade to get people to keep reading the series.
Yeah, because, that's kind of the financial reality of it, is that a lot of Image series, at least that first story arc, maybe isn't making you any money, but if you can get to that first trade, the trade may be something you can make money off of. But if you're selling it for $10, beneath a certain volume, you're really not making any money on it. So you're kind of betting, A, that you might sell enough of the first volume to reach that level of success where it's profitable, but B, you're also going to sell more volume 2, 3, 4, 5s, and 6s. And for some books, that just wasn't the case. So the one shot you had to make money, you kind of squandered it. Most of the stuff that is coming out from Image now, $16.99, but as low as $12.99, I think,
yeah.
$14.99. They're not really doing the $9.99s anymore. At least some of the stuff that I'm seeing coming up is not. And I know that I've heard from some Image creators that if you're only going to do, I think, 2 or 3 volumes, I think Image is like, keep it to $16.99.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a rule going forward, if that's the new price point they're working with, but I'm not seeing a lot of $9.99 trades coming out of Image anymore. Because, it just was not sustainable. And even the ones that were $9.99, a few of those have switched over to $14.99 because they're past the point where they need to have that introductory offer. But yeah, from my experience personally, anecdotally, there have been plenty of times where I've pitched a book to someone and they've been on the fence and I've mentioned that it's only $10 and like, well, it's only $10. Like, they've said that. So I know that that's a deciding factor for some people is it's only $10.
And if you get it during I Love You But I've Chosen Comics sale, it's only $7.50.
If you can believe that.
I can believe that.
Do you think it's valuable? $9.99?
Oh, I'm just going to say ditto.
Okay.
This one comes from Matt Armstrong. When you mention comic buyers are fiercely loyal to their shops, making it difficult to get existing readers to buy from you, I was wondering if you guys consider buyers like me that live outside the city but save up their budget to buy one in Bucktown. I feel like I'm in Challengers every week by listening to the podcast, and because of that, I feel like I want to buy from you guys, not just some shop. Thank you for that.
Thanks.
Since events sounded like a bit of a failure last year, connecting to buyers through the authors they like, have you considered focusing on how to connect to buyers through the shop owners they like? For example, my son has never met you, but every time I tell him I went to Challengers, he asks if Dow has recommended any books for him because you always find him something he loves but hadn't seen before.
Oh, cool.
And I'll give you this to look at again if you want to look at it to try to keep the question in mind.
Sure.
But the question is, have we thought of focusing, I guess, on us as a way to get people in?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we do that.
I feel like that's what we do regularly.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our branding is kind of, again, the video that we shot for the Polar Vortex.
Yeah.
Wasn't, some edited thing with a bunch of graphics and stuff. It was you and I just standing outside the store going, we're open today, we're here.
Yeah,
come on in if you
and
can.
being ourselves.
Yeah.
On the back, please.
Oh, sure. We're on the back of the...
That's my note paper.
Oh, sorry. We're on the back of the bookmarks we hand out. There's a giant Chris Russo decal of us on our back door.
It used to be on the front door.
It used to be several times.
But I mean, and we don't just mean that in promoting the physical image of the two of us, which I do realize that I have an inordinate number of portraits of me done by professional comic artists.
Yeah.
And it's not a thing that I ever thought I would seek out.
No.
But it's neat having them.
Yeah.
We have a new one as well we'll be unveiling probably sometime in March.
Yeah.
Which is pretty great as well.
Yeah.
And I just got to get my beard back up to snuff.
I have to grow a bunch of hair, which is easier said than done. As far as kind of promoting Challengers, maybe, am I getting the question right? I mean, is it kind of promoting the store more than promoting the events at the store?
Have you considered focusing on how to connect buyers through the shop owners they like?
Yeah, I mean, some of it is my own neuroses. I don't assume that anyone cares about me, I guess. Like, that's a harsh way of saying it. I don't mean it that way.
Well, let me phrase it like this, if I may.
Sure.
If I think I know what you're trying
Sure.
to say is, you hope people are shopping at the store because they like the store. You certainly don't expect someone to not like the store but still shop there because they like you or they like me.
No, for sure. Specifically, I enjoy the process of kind of designing the store, being able to look at racking and fixtures and layout and how we organize the store to create an experience where it doesn't necessarily need us to explain it or to handhold, but people can just kind of find what they're looking for, discover things that might be interesting to them. I like the idea that I'm hopefully, in the best possible scenario for Challengers, irrelevant to the process.
Because you're not at the store every second it's open.
Yeah, I like hand selling. I like having conversations with people. I like being able to talk to someone about what they're liking and hopefully turn them on to a book they might not know about. But I don't want to be integral to the process. I like being, something maybe additive to the store, not necessarily the only way it works.
Sure.
So, yeah, my hope in general is that I like the idea of being invisible to the process. That someone can come in, have a good experience, and not necessarily have either you or I be responsible for that experience. That the experience is just the store.
See, I want people to come in when I'm not there and be disappointed.
They are.
I want them to just turn around and walk away. Oh, it's a Kent day? Out.
Don't worry, they've said it on Sundays too. Oh, is Patrick not in today?
That's not true. I guess, ultimately, we don't know how to do what you're asking other than by doing what we already do. And this podcast is a way to hopefully do it. And in your case, Matt, it has worked because you want to shop with us because of what you hear or experience with us, either A, from this podcast, or B, when you're in the store. And that's great. That's literally why we do this. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is 100% why we do this podcast, and we run the store the way we run the store. I guess we wouldn't know how to reach people who don't shop at the store and wouldn't know how to say, hey, we're great guys, come and find out.
Yeah,
without sounding completely insincere.
I would go so far as to say that I think promotion is maybe the thing that we do worst, in that I am always uncomfortable promoting things. I don't constantly tell people in the store about the events that we do or all that kind of stuff, and I wouldn't even know where to begin spending money on promotion to get people to either have an awareness of the store or to have an awareness of an event that we're running. Yeah.
I have a suggestion.
What's up?
Have you thought about using Yelp?
Have you tried using Yelp? Maybe if they called once in a while. I mean, Jesus, who would I even talk to at this point?
Right.
I think a lot of the promotional aspect for any business, you need a level of confidence and a level of, like, an extrovert nature that makes that something that you're good at. And that's not a skill set I have.
Well, you have a level of confidence in your knowledge for the product and your ability to sell the product. You just don't like being the guy talking up the store to strangers.
Yeah, or again, like specific events. Like, it's one thing to say, hey, we've got a sale coming up, or oh, we've got this creator, but just the kind of critical mass of it that you need to be effective, that part of the process is something I would gladly hand off to another party.
I don't know how to do that.
Well, you'd have to pay them. I mean, that's the thing, is that if you don't want to do that job in a business that you own, you can pay somebody else to do it.
Right, but we've also never really found a company to work with us who we feel understands our business.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
We've tried a lot of marketing things that have failed, like 5-Star, like Belly.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked with social media promotion companies, and we've talked with organizations whose sole purpose is to get you likes and followers and things. And first of all, those don't mean anything unless they're buyers.
No.
Second of all, in these in-depth conversations, we come away feeling that they don't know how to pitch our product.
Yeah, everything just, like, every conversation I've ever had with someone who's pitching us on marketing and promotion that we haven't gone with, it always just feels like a money pit.
Yeah.
It feels like you're gonna throw a ton of money at this. You'll have no idea if it's worked or not. Maybe your sales go up. Maybe it's because of this. You'll never know for sure.
But don't worry, there's a silver, gold, and platinum level.
Yeah.
And you really want at least the gold. The silver doesn't do you any good. You want at least the gold, but you should probably do the platinum, which is only $3,000 a month.
Yeah, don't worry. They'll keep taking your money regardless.
Yeah. $3,000 a month for social media promotion.
It's only a 6-month commitment to start, so it's fine.
Yeah.
That part of it, and I feel like it's this way for nearly every business now. Like, no one seems to know how to reach anybody and turn that into sales anymore. Like, there are no solutions. There's just a ton of different options.
Where are the social media comic book influencers?
That's something I think I said to Image a while back, was just who is, like, what amount of money do you have to give Kendall Jenner to get her to say, hey, by the way?
Did you see that she was dethroned from the most liked Instagram picture?
For an egg?
For an egg, yeah.
Egg.
Yep. I wouldn't have liked the egg just because of the way it was done.
Okay.
Like, hey, let's make this the most liked thing, blah, blah, blah. Like, if it was organic, and I don't mean the egg, I mean the reach of the post, maybe. But also, I don't care.
I don't know, memes are weird that way. You gotta care about them.
Yeah.
Some people care about memes. People painting a bird, and then painting people painting the bird, and then painting the people who painted the people painting the bird. And it's a crazy Reddit thing. Memes!
Okay. Dank memes, yo.
Ugh.
I just wanted to say that.
Okay. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah, so I guess all the way back to answer Matt's question.
Which I think we did a bad job of.
Yeah, here's the short answer. I think we're doing what you're asking, and if there's a better way to be doing it, I'm open to suggestions. And I don't mean that to sound snarky. I'm literally open for suggestions. If someone's got a better idea on how to with a zero budget...
this is not
spread what we're doing.
Invitation to
I will entertain
pitch us
it
on your marketing company.
Yeah, if you've got a thing that we can do between the two of us for free, I will try it out. For sure.
I will tell you that the best marketing person I think we ever had was Delia. When Delia was getting what was the
Rogues Gallery?
Well, yeah, but I mean, more than that, when she was...
An intern?
Yeah, when she was interning with us for the Art Institute, she was basically our Rogues Gallery docent. During her tenure, when she was setting up the promotion for an exhibit, and when I was going to say when she was setting up an exhibit, and like she didn't cultivate the exhibit, she didn't reach out to the creator, but she would like frame and hang. We let that happen, sure. But
but
more
most
than
of
that,
her job was the online aspect.
yeah, she was great at. We had Robert Atkins, who by the way commented on our outside video.
Oh, okay.
For G.I. Joe, she was doing a bunch of great, engaging G.I. Joe posts on our Facebook page leading up to it. And it wasn't just, hey, here's our thing. It was engaging. It was getting responses from people. It was asking questions and responding to their choices.
Yeah, I think it's similar to the stuff that Sam does for Women's Comics Night, where it's not just here's a post and then it gets ignored. It's here's a post that you can take part in, and it's organic now, and you're involved.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But again, how do you see if it translates? How do you find a recognizable worth to it?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the question we ask ourselves every day. You know, how do we get people to see what we're doing? I have a problem advertising the sale to people, because the majority of the time you want to do it is when you're talking to them as they're ringing out, and I never want to say, hey, if you would have waited, you would have gotten the stuff for 25% off.
Yeah, but there's no... The way I always think about it is there's no guarantee that stuff would have still been here.
Right.
So it's not like you're absolutely going to save this money. And additionally, then you would have waited a week.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to read it right now.
Sure. I know. But I always think the worst, and that people are just thinking like, oh, you waited until after I paid or whatever. Or I'm going to go put this back or something like that. Or, I mean, you do it very diplomatically. Even when people are buying things at the sale, you're good with the, well, don't forget the sale goes for 4 more days. You can find something else you might want. Here you go. You can come back.
Sale is very important to the longevity of the store, so I try to make sure we maximize it as much as we can.
This is a weird breakdown of week for the sale because it starts on a Thursday and ends on a Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So that means that it only resets for Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So anything that's new for that Thursday through Tuesday, which is not part of the sale, is only on sale one day on Wednesday.
It's been a long time, years, since we've had that same Thursday through Wednesday sale setup.
Yeah.
And I think I like it. I could go back and look and see how we did, but I don't think those numbers are even relevant anymore.
No.
But I like the idea of being able on Wednesday to say, hey, the sale starts tomorrow. So you get the most amount of people that are going to come in for one day of the week are going to be in on that day, and you can promote it, and you can say, come back tomorrow. So maybe you get them to come back for a second visit, and then you have through the following Wednesday. So anyone who didn't make the trip back, you can say, hey, this is the last day of the sale. Definitely take advantage. So I think that's a good kind of strategy for the layout.
And with the new this week wall the way it is for the first time ever during a sale, it's really easy. Just this stuff isn't part of it.
Anything that's on this wall, not on sale.
Yeah.
Those Captain Marvel figures, not on sale.
Yeah, because those won't have had a Wednesday start date, so they need to be up there. Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely. So the Grey Gargoyle figure from the Captain Marvel Legends.
Yeah, how are those
just
doing?
Came out. We sold the full set today.
Okay.
The Grey Gargoyle was the one figure I was interested in. Mm-hmm. Dal, what is the Grey Gargoyle's powers?
When he touches people, they turn to stone, right? He's like a Medusa.
Right. So he doesn't have an outreached hand.
What are his hands?
His hands are, they're not fists, but they're curled in. They're like clenched.
I think his body type is the beast. Like, the feet look very beasty to me.
Really?
I think. I mean, not the whole body necessarily, but a lot of Marvel Legends are reused body parts.
Oh, sure.
So I think the hands and the feet for
But I mean,
Gargoyle,
the beast is covered in fur.
Well, that's... maybe it's just the hands and the feet then, and not like the legs and the arms and the whatever.
It's just like, that's literally, it stopped me from buying it because you can't... What's it going to do? Knuckle brush a guy to turn him into stone? Take this, Falcon!
All of the statues are people like mid-punch.
Yeah.
Rolling with a punch.
But not even like a clench fist, just a clenching fist.
Yeah, it's an interesting batch of figures. You've got, from the movie, you've got 2 different Captain Marvels, Nick Fury, Yon-Rogg, and Talos. I think Yon-Rogg is the Jude Law figure, but it's kind of hard to tell because it doesn't have a Jude Law head.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for the most part, we don't have a context for Yon-Rogg and Talos. Like, they've not been in any movies yet, so it's not clear yet if they're cool or not cool.
I would say that I am interested enough in the Build-A-Figure Kree Sentry.
It's a cool idea.
It's because of how Kirby-esque it looks.
Sure.
That I may entertain looking at eBay for a completed.
Sure. I mean, someone is you could probably source out just a few pieces pretty easily, because I'm sure there's people who are buying, the Captain Marvel or the Nick Fury, and they're like, I'm not buying anything else. I don't care about this leg.
And that's the cool thing about Greg Goyle. He comes with just the Sentry head.
Neat.
It's so Kirby-esque. It's great. So yeah, those are available right now.
Yeah.
Right now at Challengers.
Possibly, assuming we're not sold out yet.
Which we are not as of this recording. This recording, which is over. Thanks for listening.
Keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.